Hello and welcome to the show. I am here on Forza 6 with another autocross car build. Now, we've had plenty of sensible vehicles go around here for a while, so it's time to give something a bit more ridiculous a shot. Hence why I have got a GMC Vandura. Yep, we're going to try and get a Vandura to go autocrossing. Could be quite difficult. I have some concerns with this thing. I do remember from when we did van racing, the Vandura has a tendency to want to go up onto two wheels and to kind of grip roll. So that might be a problem. We will see, I guess. Of course, we are going to be wanting as many handling parts as I can possibly get on the van. It's 295 tyres on the front. That's actually pretty impressive. There are only 295s on the rear as well, though. That's fairly sizable front tyres, though, for the vehicle. Yeah, this is going to be a big, heavy thing to be going autocrossing with. As much as I would love to use the 18 parts on this, I fear for my life, really, taking a Vandura autocrossing. It's not really a very sensible thing to be doing with one. I'm actually hoping the PI, it'll be enough to get up into A class. I don't know whether it'll be enough to get to the top of A class. We may well have to use the NASCAR engine. I'm going to put the handling parts on first, and then we'll come and have a look at what engines I can get in the vehicle and keep it in A class. I think we may possibly have to go for the NASCAR engine to get this all the way up into A class. With weight reduction, we get the vehicle down to 3,918 pounds. That's still a lot of weight, and it's going to go back up again because we're going to put in a roll cage. Yeah, it's going to be rather important, really, when it comes to the Vandura. Just anything that can possibly make this thing handle a little bit better would be good, really. As I said, there is still a fear that we could get some grip roll, as we saw with the bowler a long time ago, since we saw the bowler go around the autocross thing. But yeah, it could be something that crops up with this. I'm hoping not, but expecting the worst. Let's put a diff in as well. Now it is to the engine. What are we going to be using? I think we're going to be going for the NASCAR engine, to be honest with you. Judging as the NASCAR engine is going to get more power than the 5.7 litre, and the NASCAR's not even at the top of A class. Yep. Right, we're going to have nearly 1,000 horsepower Vandura trying to go autocross. This is only going to end spectacularly. Whether that be spectacularly well or spectacularly awful, I'm not sure. I could go for the full 994 horsepower and take out some handling parts. Or I could go for the 909 horsepower and leave all of my handling parts in. I think I'm going to go for that one. I think we're going to stick with as many handling bits as I can get in the Vandura. Now, power is not going to be a problem. I have got everything. I've got plenty of PI to sort of play around with if I haven't got anything. Now we've got all of these bits here. Yeah, power is not going to really be a problem here. It's the control that is likely to let us down. I had to go through all of these, yeah. Yeah, and this is going to be the most powerful horsepower-wise vehicle that has gone around. The Hummer had a lot of torque, but didn't quite have as much horsepower as this thing. This might be quite tough to keep control of. So, of course, to test out the Vandura, we've come to the Hockenheim circuit, where it'll get 3 runs through the autocross course. Our current leader is the Renault 5 Turbo with a time of 2:05.2. I think that's probably fairly safe up there. I think the more interesting sort of challenge for the Vandura, will it beat the bowler at 2:20.1? Maybe it could throw up a surprise, a bit like the Grand Wagoneer. I suspect not quite going as quick as the Grand Wagoneer, but you never know. I have a sneaking suspicion we will be very sideways and quite uncontrollable, but you never know with vehicles on here. Please don't try and kill me, Vandura. I suspect we will have lots of understeer, lots of wheel spin, and be terrifying at anything reaching high speeds. We get off the line pretty quickly with a lot of wheel spin, but we get off the line pretty well, and then we spin the wheels down it. Actually, not quite as ridiculously uncontrollable as a 900 horsepower van could be. It does sort of feel as if the diff isn't a racing diff. But aside from that, we are not going to be tackling that flat out. 80 miles an hour on the way through there. Again, we're in a van, remember. 80 miles an hour is pretty good going. I may have immediately forgotten I was in a van when it comes to judging the width. Yeah, it is quite a wide vehicle. Wonder if we're going to be able to get through the tunnel going flat out. That's a good question. I'm not actually sure. The Hummer is the only vehicle that's had to lift through the tunnel section because, yeah, trying to get it flat through there doesn't quite work. You can't quite straight line it like you can with every other vehicle. I wonder if that's going to be the case with this. I did have a little lift because I wasn't sure quite what the vehicle is going to do. I think perhaps the reason why the diff almost feels like it's not a proper racing diff is I'm wondering if the vehicle is going up on two wheels or unloading one of the rear wheels ever so slightly, and that's what's causing problems. We're not having the big grip roll issues that we had with the Bowler though, so that is, it's always nice when the vehicle has all of its wheels planted on the road. Now this is the sort of section it's not going to like. It actually has changed direction better there than I was kind of fearing might be the case. I'm having suspicions that that's not going to work. Okay, I lied about the grip roll ever so slightly. We do have it when the really high speed stuff there, so we can't really carry that much speed. Are we going to be alright going through here? Yes, indeed we are. That's nice to know. So we can get it flat out through there, so it's immediately better than the Hummer. Yeah, this thing is not quite as ridiculous as I thought it was going to be. Oh no, two-wheel moments. That's the... Not very often you say that when autocrossing, but there we go. Spinning the wheels up manically as we are now coming towards the line. It's not quick. It's not quick at all. Oh crap! I've not got not got the turning there to do that with it. It's not going to work. Funnily enough, right across the line, 236.7. It's actually beaten the Hummer already, even with 10 seconds worth of time penalties. It's beaten the Hummer. Okay, that's yeah, that's a thing to get used to. So on to the second run for the Vandura. It is try and remember it's a van. That's going to be an important thing to remember. It's very much a case of try not to let this thing get onto two wheels. When it has one of those big two-wheeled moments, you kind of lose control of the vehicle for a fair amount of time. And in the autocross, that's even worse than in a normal race because you've got to get it through the narrow gates. Oh, I might have forgotten I was in a van immediately. Not for width-wise this time, just for what I was expecting the brakes to be able to do in slowing it down. Yeah, I think being slow is going to very much be a case of be slow into the gates and try and make the most of the strengths of the van, which is the acceleration. You know, despite all of the weight there is here, you know, it's a very, very quick accelerator because it's got so much power. For an A-class vehicle, 900 horsepower, or for, should I say, for a full kind of handling build, 900 horsepower is huge. We haven't really seen those levels of power in an autocross build before, because cars traditionally don't get that much power at A-class when they actually, you know, have grip and things. So yeah, make the most of the acceleration, but to do that I will have to be slow into the corners, because the front end just doesn't quite get turned in. So you can't really treat it like any other car, or any other vehicle I should say, that goes around here, because yeah, you don't have anywhere near the grip, the handling through the corners, or really the composure as it wants to bob and weave about all over the place. Please get slowed down, thank you, vehicle. And then we want to spin the wheels up down here. Now this is where we got into trouble last time out. Give it a slight wider berth. Clipping the curbs would also be a really, I suspect, bad idea. Not going to have a fun time if we clip them. That's a bit of an issue. I can just about deal with that. I can just about keep it under control. There's enough time, and it's not such a narrow gap that we're aiming for, that you can sort of keep it under control. We don't want to having twitches coming into that corner, dear God. That's about the worst place you can have a big twitch coming into a corner. Oh, piss, I can't. Got to brake a bit earlier, because the acceleration, oh, now got a big two-wheel moment. That's not what we want. You've got to brake a bit earlier, or even earlier than you're expecting, when you're expecting to brake early with this, but because you're going at the normal, so we're going at the normal car speed, we're going at the speed of the faster vehicles here, really, because of the acceleration. You've got to then bear in mind that this weighs 2-3 times as much as some cars that have got around here. So yeah, that's a fun little game to be playing. I think a better run overall though. We did clip an extra gate. Yeah, considering we clipped one more gate, we actually went quicker that time around. We've had a lot of time on that run. 15 seconds worth of time penalties for a Vandura is actually looking not too shabby around here. Well, not when you consider what it is. on to the final attempt for the Vandura, and well, I've got to try and keep it away from the barrels. We don't need any time penalties. That is much easier said than done. However, this could be a lot worse. I was expecting worse from the Vandura. It's difficult to drive, most definitely, and you know, never going to be as quick as the regular cars, essentially, that have got around here. However, it's not completely and utterly uncontrollable, which is a weird thing to say about a Vandura going autocross, and it can carry some okay speed. Again, when you consider what we're getting a 900 horsepower van to do, a 900 horsepower van that likes to go up onto its side as well, it can carry some half decent speed through some of these sections. So I think that's quite an accomplishment, really. I just need to string it all together without making any silly mistakes, and it is easy to clip a barrel with this. It is quite a wide vehicle, not the widest we've had, no, but it is still a relatively wide vehicle. That's 107 miles an hour down there, and well, okay, that's 13 miles an hour down on the Opel Kadett and some of the very, very fast cars. You know, considering how slow you have to be through the earlier parts of that, how much you have to lift for some of the quick gates, there's still the acceleration in here, which is nice. This is not nice. Okay, this bit here is where we do struggle in the Vandura. The very tight, twisty bits. It's just simply size. Oh, I knew flipping the curb was going to be a bad idea. We did get away with it. I'm having a little lift through there just because I want to keep all of the wheels on the ground. We'll go for a little bit of an early brake down here just to, again, make sure we get the vehicle into the corner and to try and stop it from doing that if we do go up onto our side. We are through the tunnel once more. That's not the sort of thing I want. I did it best on the first lap, I think, getting it into that tunnel for not getting the van up onto its side. The problem is the more speed that you take through there, the more likely it is to want to be going up onto two wheels. Now down here, again, it might sometimes be worth just being that little bit slower. Keep the van under control better. Don't have it going up onto its side because, yeah, once it goes up on its side, that's it. You are pretty much done for. I have got away with it probably more times than I was expecting to around here on the previous run, so let's not push our luck on this one. There's a little awkward getting it through there. It is the run towards the line. A 217.9. 217.9 from the GMC Vandura. I was expecting worse. I will be honest, I was expecting worse from the the Vandura. Yeah, it could have been, considering the amount of power that we have in this. It's a huge amount of power in a van going around an autocross course. It's completely the wrong shape. It's far too large. It likes to roll over, and it's tackling an autocross course with far too much power. Yet it's still kind of composed. It could have been a lot worse. We could have had a lot more slidey oversteery problems. It could have been worse through the slower corners. While it wasn't particularly happy at them, it was still okay. You can still get the front end turned in with some speed. And yeah, it's all sort of relative speaking, really. I think the Vandura was actually quite impressive in its own way. It goes quickest of all of the silly cars as well that have gone around this course. It goes in to 38th place. It is a couple of seconds down on the Lotus Carlton and the Fiat 8V and sort of the Rolls-Royce Wraith and that kind of area of the table. But, you know, they're normal, sensible cars. Well, the Wraith is a bit large and a bit heavy, but, you know, it's not that far off of them. And this was the van that wanted to roll over. It's 3 seconds almost quicker than the Bowler, and it's far quicker than the Hummer, quicker than the limo, and so on. Yeah, it's quite a thing. It's certainly a good challenge trying to take a van autocrossing. It's certainly a good challenge. It's not the easiest thing to drive, but it could have been a hell of a lot worse. Anyway, that is it for this video, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.